What up, YouTube? We're back. You're back with the Hype Mind. We're so excited. Drew, this is Danny right here. We got a good one for you today. Spill it.
So today we're talking about the topic of Oneitis. Is it real? Right? How do we get here where we start to believe in Oneitis?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's pretty simple. It's something that's fed to us by society. It really is I mean, you hear it talked about by a lot of different people, and it is something our parents teach us. It is something Disney teaches us, and all the movies teach us. So it is something society really feeds into our mind, right? That there is a soulmate, a one single person that if you miss them, you're gonna miss the love of your life for the rest of your life. And so we're gonna talk about that today.
Right, and I gotta say, like, we've been affected by TV and movies, stories,
parental and friend influences.
Right. And where does that come from? I would have to say, I mean, I gotta relate this to being in a relationship and that kind of high that you get. Right.
Yeah.
It's like drugs. Like I think of Gollum in the Ring from movie Lord of the Rings, and how that's his one. Like he's so obsessed in the ring, right? And I bet it's
codependent.
Right. And what's the chemicals in your brain that go off because of
dopamine?
Dopamine, yeah, exactly. Because of because of this, right? You have that feel good hormone, which makes you think this is unreal. Same thing with drugs. I mean, being in love is kind of like being on drugs, right? It's the same hormones, dopamine fires off, and that's what makes you think, wow, this is incredible.
And you work with that story.
You don't have that feeling with anybody else. So
and then what happens?
Definitely see how you're an illusion to be like, hey, this is the one. But Andrew.
Well, yeah, because I think what happens is you enter that honeymoon phase where things are ripe for the first 1 to 3 months, and then you guys step out of that honeymoon phase where you're super high off meeting each other, and now you have to face the real challenges of a relationship where, you have to maintain mystery, you have to maintain space so that you have a healthy relationship, you have to keep changing things up and be your genuine self while not making things super repetitive and familiar. And I think what happens is people step out of that phase and they forget that you actually have to put effort into a relationship and that everything's not this dreamy thing. So while you're in that stage of the honeymoon phase, you get caught up on this is my idol, this is my everyone, and then when you break up, you do it because, well, they just weren't the right one for me, they must not have been my soulmate. And it's like, no, I don't think that's what happens. I think what happens is you were too codependent on someone, possibly in some cases, or you were too high off who you thought they were and who you had eluded yourself to thinking they were. And so when they showed too many signs that they weren't that person, you convinced yourself that they weren't your soulmate, and you ended it. When really, they're gonna have differences, you're gonna have differences, and those are the differences that actually make it a real relationship that you have to work through to have a real relationship.
Right. Yeah. I love how we call this love, right?
Yeah.
And it's a feeling, right? You're gonna do something, you're gonna help somebody out, they make you feel good.
Oh my God.
Real love is to give. Real love is a choice. Real love is a sacrifice.
I literally just read, I think it might have been Viktor Frankl's definition of what love really is. Let me see if I screenshotted it, because he hits it right on the point. Like, it's such a simple definition, which is the beautiful thing, because all virtues can be defined very simply, but with great meaning. And he absolutely nails the definition. I think I saved it. Let me see. I guess I didn't, but what he says is real love is when you're both willing to give your very best.
Oh,
And that's it.
yes.
And that's so true. It's when you're willing to
Yeah.
give your very best, that is love, because you can't do any better. And you're willing to give that absolute peak performance for yourself to the other person.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
selfless.
Dude, that's a great definition. It's great.
And very simple too.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that is.
Oneitis, right? You were
Right.
talking about where it came from.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good definition. It kind of threw me off a little bit. Hey, so you know, I feel like we got to pull this back a little bit, because a lot of us have been like, hey, there's actually one for me, right? And it's like, wait a second, like, I know, you know, that would be great and all. We're going to pull you back into reality a little bit and be like, no, there's not, right? What happens is, yeah, it feels like there is, because you connect with you'll connect with somebody, right?
Very deeply.
Exactly.
And that's usually the honeymoon phase, or that's usually you deluding yourself, or that's you being codependent in many scenarios.
Right.
Not to say you can't be deeply connected with someone, because you can.
Right. But hope isn't lost there, right? It's not like you can't be in a great relationship. You still can. But now, right, Andrew and me are giving you the reality of it. And now it's more in your control.
Yeah, you have to realize that
of fate. It's more in your control in how you handle it, and how do you either make yourself, I mean, we could talk about this all day, make yourself available to somebody, you know, anything else, putting yourself in the right situation. Yeah, Andrew, go for it.
I think a lot of it is actually very fear-driven. It's, oh my gosh, this person's my soulmate. If I believe this, then I'm going to be happy because I'll stop looking. And if I lose them, then I'll have to look again. And so I'm going to do everything I can to make them my soulmate. So I'm going to believe they're my soulmate, so that they'll be that. And because you're so afraid that if you lose this person, then you have to go looking for someone else, and you really like this person, so you don't want to lose this person. So I think there's a lot of fear intermingled with that.
We're gonna make another video on this. So
yeah, catch us in part 2 of Oneitis and the myth and the soulmate, the myth of the soulmate.